If the Yankees had played on Tuesday, then Luis Gil pitches on Tuesday, and then Nestor Cortez pitches yesterday, and then Marcus Stroman would pitch today. But once you have Gil get rained out and he has to start the first game of the doubleheader, he can't pitch Sunday because that would be on short rest. And you don't want to do that with him. So you have to add another pitcher to the mix. Now, where you want to put that pitcher, that's anybody's guess. Could have been on Sunday if you wanted to do that. They decided to have the second game of the doubleheader. They started Will Warren. So they won the first game by a score of 5-2, 5 shutout innings for Gil, and then Will Warren got spanked. Gave up a grand slam to Zach Neto. They gave up 6 runs in the second inning. Never looked back. They lost the second game 8-2. And what that does is it speaks volumes about the fact that, the trade for Soto, which they had to make, right? They had to make that trade. But you gave up all of your pitching depth. So there's really nobody to go to when you have that rain out and you have to add a starter. And although Will Warren pitched okay in Philly, it wasn't great. He pitched okay. And they don't have any starter to go to. It's Will Warren. Chase Hampton's always hurt. Cody Poteet has been injured now for 4 months. So there's not that 6th starter, Don. I guess they could have gone with a bullpen game, but that's always risky, too, because then you got a lot of games in a row toward the end of the week. So at some point, you had to go to the extra starter. And the Yankees, because they traded away, all their depth. Michael King, how valuable would Michael King be? But, that's a deal that you make 100 times out of 100 times to get Juan Soto, because Soto's been so great. But, Don, once they have to dig into their pitching depth, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. And they go to Will Warren, who they think has a pretty good future, but right now his future's not now. He's still refining his stuff, and he got hammered. So they lost a game that, again, you don't want to lose games against teams like the Angels, and that's exactly what happened. So that was the costly part of that rainout.
Yeah, but that's going to happen. It's difficult to sweep doubleheaders, and as you just outlined, the situation with the pitching, he saved your bacon when Cole couldn't make that start last week, and he got lit up. That's going to happen. I think the Yankees are still fine. They're tied for first place. Baltimore had their chance to run away with it, didn't do it. Yankees have the underbelly of their schedule. Angels tonight, then Texas comes in. They're reeling. They thought they still had a chance to do something. They're still losing. And it's funny,
Don, if you look at the standings, they still have a chance.
They still have a chance.
The West is awful.
Listen, baseball's awful, Michael. That's what I keep trying to tell Yankee fans. As bad as the Yankees have been at times, look at the great shape that you're in. Who's really a team? I'm sorry. I had a caller that felt like I was disrespecting the Central Division. I am. I don't believe in any of those teams in the American League Central. I don't at all. The Guardians can finish with the best record in baseball. They're not going anywhere. And they just got swept, and now the Twins are breathing down their neck. Yes, and listen, nobody's scared of the Twins. Sorry. Nobody is scared of the Twins. So I don't think anybody you have to worry about in the Central. In the West, the same thing. And Seattle's never done anything in a big spot. All right, Texas won the World Series last year, but they're still struggling. They went for it at the deadline. They didn't sell, and yet they're still a team that, is what, does 7 games under 500? So you are where you are. At that point, the Angels are terrible, and so you've got to worry about Baltimore. And Baltimore blew their opportunity to really widen their lead. Red Sox are a nice team, a surprise team, but I don't think any kind of legitimate threat here. So I look at the American League, Michael. It's for the Yankees taking. It really is. So, yeah, there's going to be moments here or there, but overall, really, if you really look at it, Michael, who is a legit threat? Houston, because of the history, they might even make the playoffs. Yankees and the Orioles. Those are the 2 best teams in the league. One of them is going to finish first. One's going to be the first wild card. That's the way it breaks down. A team to look out for, a good team, is the Royals. If it wasn't for Aaron Judge having the year that he's having, Bobby Witt Jr. would be the MVP in the league. I think you're right. This guy's one of the great players in Major League Baseball playing in Kansas City, and they were smart, and there's a message to all teams. They signed him early to a long-term deal. So they have to worry about him hitting the market and making $50 million a year. They signed him to what was, it's big money for a second-year guy, but, he's going to be a bargain. He's going to be a bargain. He's probably going to regret signing that contract. But the Royals, right now, if the season ended, they'd be in the playoffs. So that's a team to be concerned about. The Red Sox continue to play well.
So they're a threat because their pitching is good. But the two best teams in the league are the Yankees and the Orioles. So let's see who ends up on top.
And here, for all of the Yankees' problems, for all the issues that they had, there they are in a flat-footed tie with Baltimore. And I still like their chances going the rest of the way. The deadline was good to the Yankees. And I think that they're making the playoffs, Michael. I mean, if you want to sit there and debate me that the Orioles can still win the division, of course they still can. But that itch that Yankee fans had that maybe you don't make the playoffs, I think that's been scratched, right?
No,
you're in the
I
playoffs.
think it'll be okay.
Yeah, they're going to make the playoffs. And as far as once you get there, listen, the Astros, I think they'll still make the playoffs, but we don't know. I mean, they've been up and down all year. They certainly don't feel like the same team in recent years. I mean, their record is what it is. They're 4 games above 500. They could win the division. They could fall completely out of it.
Can I give you a little stat on Judge?
Please.
Last 10 games, Don, he has reached base safely 33 times.
Yeah.
That's 3.3 times per game. You know the last time that happened?
Bonds?
1939, Joe DiMaggio.
That's incredible. And how many walks?
It's a lot. I mean, he reached 6 of 9 times to the plate yesterday, and I think there were 3 walks in there, 1 intentional. Again, 2 outs, nobody on. So he's had 5 intentional walks in the last 4 games.
And that first inning, Michael, runner at third, the count went full, but the walk pitch was way out of the strikes. I don't even the times they pitch to him, it's so careful that these intentional walks or whatever that they pile up too.